All right? So when you think about how to solve unemployment, your mind probably goes to big factories, maybe tech startups, right? Well, today we're going to talk about something completely different, something a lot smaller and, well, a lot fluffier. We're looking at a new project in the city of Kokand to see how rabbits are actually becoming this incredible symbol of economic hope.
So the big question is, right, how can breeding rabbits actually be a path out of poverty? I mean, it sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But, a new initiative is basically betting that for some families, the key to financial stability is right there in their own backyard. So let's dive in and break down exactly how this whole thing is supposed to work.
Okay, so first things first. To really get what's going on here, we have to understand the problem they were trying to solve in the first place. What was the real challenge facing the city of Kokand?
And it really all boils down to this. There was a serious need to find new ways for low-income families to make money. We're not talking about complicated jobs that need years of training. The goal was super simple, really. Find a practical, hands-on way for people to start building their own financial independence and, forge their own path out of poverty.
So, presented with this challenge, what did the city's leadership do? Did they go with some big conventional plan? Nope. They went with something pretty surprising. Yeah, you guessed it, rabbits.
And the project kicked off with this super simple but really powerful declaration. We will breed rabbits. Just like that. That was the official start of this whole effort, one that's completely centered on creating these small-scale rabbit breeding businesses for families who really needed it.
Okay, so having a cool idea is one thing, right? But making it actually happen, that's a whole different ballgame. So how exactly does a city get a project like this off the ground? Let's get into the mechanics of how it all works.
So they started small, really focused. They began with just 10 low-income families from what's called the Chorchinor Mahala, which is basically a local word for a neighborhood. These 10 families were the very first ones picked to participate, giving them a real direct shot at earning extra income.
And this is what I think is so cool about how they kicked this off. It was super hands-on. We're talking about the city's mayor, a guy named Maruf Usmanov. He didn't just, make an announcement from his office. No way. He personally went and delivered the rabbits to these families himself. He basically handed them the starting tools for their new business.
Now, the source material calls this practically passive income, and I want to pause on that for a second, because that sounds like you just sit back and the money rolls in, right? Well, not exactly. It's really important to get this part. This is not free money. The whole thing only works if the family puts in the effort. Consistent feeding, daily care. The success is completely tied to their hard work.
All right, so we've seen how it started, but where does a project like this go from here? Is it just a one-off thing? Well, it turns out this little initiative in Kokand isn't happening in a vacuum. It's actually one small piece of a much, much bigger picture.
Yeah, the mayor himself pointed out that this kind of support is actually part of a much bigger national push, one that's being driven by presidential initiatives. The goal across the country is to create more opportunities just like this one, to support entrepreneurship and small businesses, really empowering people from the ground up.
And honestly, you can really feel that spirit of empowerment in what the mayor said to the families. He told them, I am sure that this is only the beginning. Everything is in your hands. I wish you good luck in your business. See? That's not just some politician talking about a government program. That's a direct message of encouragement. He's literally saying, the power, the responsibility, the success, it's all in your hands now.
And so this all leaves us with a really powerful final question, doesn't it? Could this small, kind of quirky, rabbit-focused project actually be the start of something huge? Could it become a blueprint for how to tackle poverty on a much larger scale? I guess the future of this idea, and maybe a lot of other ideas like it really does rest in the hands of those 10 families and, of course, the rabbits in their backyards.